Copying French style icons and buying the classic pieces will only get you through level 3 of French style. Stop there and you fall into a trap. You end up wearing a costume instead of actually looking effortless. Today, we're taking it all the way to level 5. Level 1, decoding the icon. Level 1 is where everyone starts looking for the icon. But I think the reason we are so obsessed with French style icons isn't really just about their wardrobe. It's about how they make us feel. We look at them and we feel this sudden, sharp longing for calm. Look at Françoise Hardy in the 60s. Mick Jagger was obsessed with her. Bob Dylan wrote poems about her, and yet she just stood there in her shaggy furs and vinyl coats, untouched by the noise around her. Or Jeanne Damas, who basically built an empire, reminding us that great style is just about denim, a gold chain, and a quiet refusal to look overly brushed. Caroline de Maigret is wearing messy hair all the time, vintage leather jackets, and she's pretty much making everyone who tries too hard feel kind of foolish. Then Brigitte Bardot took ballet flats out of the dance studio and onto the street because she wanted to move freely. Level 1 gives us something far more important than a shopping list. It gives us permission. These icons practice an absolute style autonomy. They make us realize how much energy we've been wasting trying to look perfect, and there's an intoxicating relief in realizing we can just stop. Hi, I'm Bridget Fisher, and after a decade running vintage shops, I know exactly how the fashion industry traps women in trends, status, and shopping pressure. Now I cut through the noise with German honesty. Welcome to the Aura Club. Level 2, the utility secret. Level 2 is about understanding the garments themselves. Most people give you the standard kit. Buy the stripe, the trench, the flat, but nobody talks about why these pieces actually work. And when you understand the origin, the way you feel wearing them completely changes. Take the Breton stripe. It wasn't invented for chic Parisian weekends. In 1858, the French Navy mandated it as official seamen's uniform for a very specific reason. The 21 stripes were a visibility test, so if a sailor fell into the sea, he could be spotted and recorded. And when we wear one, we aren't wearing a trend. We are wearing a 135-year-old survival garment. It's the same story with the trench coat. It originated as a British military coat designed by Burberry for World War I, which French cinema quietly claimed as high culture. Or take the ballet flat, created by Rose Repetto in 1947 for her dancer son, and then re-engineered it for Brigitte Bardot to wear on cobblestones in 1956. This is what I call the vintage principle. Level 2 teaches us that French style isn't about novelty. It's about choosing workwear that survived a century of real use. A vintage piece gains value with age, and when you wear clothes built for utility, you feel grounded. You stop feeling like a consumer and start feeling anchored. Let's be honest, there's nowhere left online that isn't trying to sell you something. Every time style comes up, it's just another push to buy. And that's exactly why I created the secret Aura Club. It's a space where we get together away from all the noise, the ads and the algorithms. Every single week we dive into real, honest conversations about style, aging, beauty, and the ridiculous lies we've been sold, like thinking you have to dress to look thin or that growing older makes you invisible. With every topic you get aura work, which are simple, direct reflection questions to help you unlearn the bad programming and rebuild your own self-trust. And best of all, you're doing it alongside a community of women doing the same exact thing. There are no affiliate links, no hidden sales pitches, just real conversations. I'll see you inside. The link is right below. Level 3, the 5-look sanity. Now that you have the inspiration and the utility pieces, level 3 is where we bring in some German efficiency. Honestly, if you look at the women who actually master the French look, their whole life builds around 5 basic blueprints inspired by the icons who defined them. You have what I call the Jane Birkin, an oversized trench coat worn over flared denim, a white t-shirt and low-profile ballet flats. You have the Brigitte Bardot, a boat-neck Breton top tucked into high-waisted capri pants or cigarette jeans with flexible ballet flats. You have the Caroline de Maigret, a beat-up vintage leather jacket or an oversized blazer worn with straight denim or pants and flats. You have the Jeanne Damas, a feminine blouse, a vintage denim, a blazer and heels. And finally, you have the Françoise Hardy, a turtleneck layered under a structured jacket or trench coat, sharp trousers and leather boots. And that is the entire system. Level 3 is about living inside boundaries. And do you know how that feels? It's like instant relief. You aren't standing in front of a crowded closet every morning trying to work out which version of yourself you're supposed to be today. You've already made the decision. Level 4, the status theater. When you have the icons, the utility pieces and the formulas, you hit level 4. And this is where you have to look yourself in the mirror and ask a hard question. Why do I actually want this? Is it because you truly want nonchalance and ease? Or are you just playing a smarter version of the status game? Because here's the raw truth. True effortlessness is impossible if you're still participating in consumption theater. I want to be completely honest about this because as I've thought about it deeply, I realized something about myself. I get the temptation. When someone uses clothing to signal money that loud, like the look at how much money I have, I can buy more than you, I judge it. I think a lot of us do. It feels tacky, try hard and uninspired. But when the flex is the French flex, when it quietly says, I'm far too cultured, too artistic and too European to care about your silly little trends and status symbols, that is the theater of effortless intellectualism. It isn't about flexing financial capital, it's about flexing cultural capital. It's putting on the vintage trench, the beat-up ballet flats and the red lip to signal that your mind is simply on higher things. It feels smarter, it feels superior. It's why books like How to Be Parisian Wherever You Are became bestsellers and brands like Cézanne built massive online empires selling the aesthetic to international audiences. Level 4 is about catching yourself in the act. The moment you recognize whether you are chasing genuine ease or just flexing cultural status, the performance stops. You stop trying to prove how cultured you are, and that is the exact second your style can actually start to look natural. The Aura Club gives you genuine style autonomy instead and saves you from expensive wardrobe mistakes. If you want a clear framework that stops impulse buying, start with the core style system. To unlearn outdated age rules and shop with complete clarity, check out Style After 40. And if you want my personal guidance for your specific closet, look into the Aura Audit. Stop wasting money on bad programming. Everything is linked below. Level 5, living the French truth. This brings us to level 5, where French style stops being a performance and becomes what it was always supposed to be: total, unshakable self-possession. Because let's be real, buying a full French starter pack, brand new off a shopping list, isn't style. The real deal isn't something you can add to a cart in an afternoon. Real style is about clothes you've actually lived in, pieces that have been washed, worn, broken in and repaired without any need to play a status game or prove anything to the room. Living the French truth comes down to two things: keeping the method and throwing away the costume. The method is what you've built through the previous levels. It's having very few pieces that fit you immaculately. It's wearing a coat until it gets better with age, because a good garment gains value with use, and honestly, so does a woman. When Yves Saint Laurent put women in Le Smoking Tuxedo in 1966, Paris restaurants refused to serve them at the door. So real French style was never about a cute, delicate aesthetic. It was a quiet refusal of external rules. You do not need to pretend to be a Parisian girl sitting in a cafe. A woman who knows her territory, wears her pieces hard, repairs them and walks through the world with quiet certainty, that woman is cultivating aura. She doesn't need to buy a fantasy because she's living her own life. And if you want to know how to do an honest declutter that fixes your wardrobe and won't cost you a thing, I break the whole system down step by step in this video here. And always remember, confidence looks good on you.